Hello guys, how are you doing? Today I have found such a beautiful concept that I couldn't wait to share it with you. So I was reading about Buddhism and uh, Asian philosophies and stuff, and I came across this Japanese concept of appreciating imperfections called Wabi Sabi, which um, doesn't have a direct translation, but basically it is appreciating the beauty of imperfect, aged, destructed, wrinkled, and everything not perfect, not symmetrical, and just unique. There is a Japanese legend that says that there was a tea master who was testing his students by asking them to tend the garden, and he asked one of them to go and take care of the garden, and he cut everything perfectly and everything was clean and just amazing. And then before he finished, he just went and he shaked one tree, so some flowers would fall down in random order. And to this day, this person is referred to as the person who understood this trend of Wabi Sabi, which emerged in Japan due to the tendency of, for example, Chinese art to be just too perfect. And there was an example of a perfectly ornamented round-shaped tea set, and the comparison of it to, for example, an old teacup that is covered in cracks and maybe it misses a piece, or maybe the leg on it is a little bit vanished, or just something that tells a story of that this thing has been used. And I find it so beautiful because we live in this culture and in this day and age, and we appreciate only the beauty of Photoshop and perfection and just everything symmetrical and polished, and just look at our architecture and even the Gothic and Baroque and every other kind of cultural trend. So basically what Wabi Sabi is appreciating that everything is mortal, which can be very well illustrated by, for example, autumn leaves, or by a rusty old chair, or a wooden floor that hasn't been polished, or maybe some jewelry made of stones that are not as shiny anymore, and everything vintage, everything with a soul, opposed to what we have now with this fast fashion and mass markets and plastic surgeries and everyone cloning each other, and we don't really have that much individuality anymore. There is very rare people who really value the true and natural things, as opposed to all being fake and plastic, and I don't know, it's just so beautiful. And so, okay, I thought that there is probably some ways to bring this more into your life, because it's so zen. It sounds really, really peaceful and mindful to me. Maybe implementing some of the Wabi Sabi into your life can be helpful for achieving more happiness, because in life nothing is really perfect, and in nature nothing is symmetrical, nothing is flawless. And I think that a lot of our unhappiness comes from a place where we do not accept the reality, or we do not accept ourselves, or we think more about what other people might think than what we uniquely actually like. So, well, we can apply this principle to our relationships, to our beauty and fashion, and our housing and our work and our life in general. Our world is moving towards increasing entropy. So anyway, if you live a room just be. When you come back several years later, there will be a lot of dust, there will be some things that fell down, there will be some broken things, even if there was no one to touch it, just because everything is trying to move towards the increase of entropy. And I think that it is very important to accept that life is pretty random and you can never predict anything, because there's just too many variables and you can not actually influence most of the things in life. So for example, in a relationship, it can manifest itself as accepting your partner entirely and completely, because most of the time we idealize our partners, especially at the stage when we do not live together or we do not know each other that well. But there is not a single person who is actually perfect, and everyone has their own flaws. No one is entirely angelic, and there's no person who would always meet every expectation of yours. So it is very important when you enter a new relationship, or even if you are already in a relationship, it's so important to just accept the other person for the flawed, the sinful, we are all kind of bad in something, and it's very important to accept the other person and love them for who they are and not for who you would like them to be, and for this unattainable image of perfection. And when we think about beauty and fashion, we think more of the young, perfectly symmetrical models with big lips and big eyes and small noses, and we think about this thin, flawlessly skinned, no cellulite, no hair, long legs, big boobs, humans that we don't really see them on the streets, because humans are flawed, and no amount of makeup and whatever, it cannot hide it. And we are not photoshopped. Our reality is not photoshopped, and we need to learn to appreciate the beauty that we have, the unique features, like an unusual shape of your eyebrows, or the unusual size of your nose, or the shape of your boobs, even if they are not perfectly round and a D cup or whatever you think is beautiful, because it differs from country to country as well. And I just think that the fashion as well, now we see people who are dressed approximately the same. Like, all the girls wear the same things, and it changes from year to year, of course, but this fashion that dictates what we are going to wear this year, it kind of makes the crowd seem so blended in together and just so ununique. And I think that it's very important to know what is true for you and what suits you. And maybe you have a vintage dress from your mom or your grandmother, and maybe you want to make something out of it if you cannot wear it entirely. Or maybe you want to just use something that you haven't worn before and it has been laying in your closet, and you can take it and turn it into a new piece of clothing. And there is just so many things that you can do with what you already have, and you can appreciate the old and the rusty and the wrinkled and even aging. We don't want to see our hair turn gray, and we don't want to see our skin become less elastic, and we don't want to accept that everything is going to decompose one day in a way, and it is not something to be scared of. It's a circle of life, and it's beautiful, and you have to accept the mortality and the fact that nothing is really forever. And yeah, so in life and in work, I think that it is more important to stay true to your values and to kind of know who you are and not trying to copy anyone else. Because when you are older, or when you are about to die, you will think about it, and you will think that you have never lived a day of your life just for yourself, because you were always trying to please someone, you were always trying to be someone that you're not, and no one became happier like that. I mean, I don't know any stories of the people who tried to be someone that they are not and who were happy while doing it. So I mean, it all doesn't mean that you should just give up on life and don't have any goals and just give up on your appearance and not take care of yourself. I don't mean it like that. I mean that you should take care of yourself and you should pursue your goals and your dreams and you should have your own values and you should stand up for them. But just, there are so many things that we can change, like aging, for example, and like, I don't know, relationships ending or people dying, and we cannot do anything about it. So there is no real reason to kind of be obsessed with it, and it's just worth it to live more in the moment and to be more acceptive and appreciative of what we already have. So, okay, I hope that this made any sense to you. Please go and Google the Wabi Sabi. I probably didn't explain it as well as I wanted to, but I hope that you will find it as beautiful as I did, and maybe you will implement some of what I said into your life, and that would be really, really great, I think. So thank you so much for watching my videos. I love you guys so much, and be a nice human. Bye.